Welcome. You are listening to The Culture Climate on the Sister Speak show. On The Culture Climate, we are raising the temperature in controversial conversations. I am Sister Speak. I thank you so much for tuning in to this episode on this segment. On this episode, you better brace yourself. I want to thank all of my first-time listeners, and I want to welcome all of my first-time listeners as well as my regular, faithful, amazing supporters who I call warriors. I want to thank you so much for continuing to download my previous episodes. Your support is divine, and I am grateful for it. To my first-time listeners, as I said before, welcome. The Sister Speak show is rated R for strong language, thoughts, and ideas. That's your first and last warning. You'll find out soon why I put that out there. And we are also putting out information that we have covered by the Copyright Act of 1976 for educational purposes only, to raise awareness on a serious topic that I have covered more than once, more than twice on the Sister Speak show. Now, when you are listening to the Sister Speak show, you need water and you need scuba gear. You need water because water is necessary. It is vital for your body. Your body cannot go without it. If you don't like water, there's something wrong with you, and I can definitely testify to the fact that there's a lot of lack in your life and your energy is almost probably depleted. Number 2, scuba gear, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, because we dive to leagues in the sea that some may not, and the leagues that we dive into in the sea, figuratively, are thought processes, gauging in conversations that require you to expand your thought process. The Sister Speak show is about picking up the litter in the village, providing solutions for the pollutions, about providing encouragement and equipping our village with the vital necessities that they need to press on, to go forth, to remain a warrior, to become a warrior, to help build the village back from the corruption, chaos, and calamity that it continues to experience. We are a part of the problem as well, and we cannot be hypocrites when it comes to acknowledging the fact that we are a part of the problem. And we need to provide an immediate solution, and not only a solution, but then walk that solution out, because our brothers and sisters are suffering. We are perishing. Some of us are refusing knowledge, and we are not on the right path. Some of us have our feet walking down different paths, and that is impossible to do. And that's what we would like to call straddling the fence. So tonight's episode, as I aforementioned, this episode is something that I've covered before, and I will continue to cover because I am passionate about it. I am an advocate against it, and I will continue to raise awareness and plead with my sisters to stop the fuckery when it comes to what we're going to be talking about on the Culture Climate on the Sister Speak show. On tonight's episode, the Lineage Leech, when paternity fraud destroys the family tree. We're going to get into it. On Mother's Day, this is what you're going to do? Listen, I don't celebrate Mother's Day, Father's Day, any of that. Only thing I celebrate is payday. Okay? I don't celebrate holidays or any of that. So I'm not here to protect you from what you need to hear. I am here to pour it out because our sisters, some of our sisters, are in danger. They are in peril. They are leading a lie. They have anxiety. They are trembling with fear because they have opted into becoming a lineage leech. And I don't like that. I don't stand for that. I will continue to advocate against it. I am not one of those women. I am not a woman who you can come to and expect me to side with you on the fuckery, side with you on the bullshit, side with you when it comes to the deception, the manipulation, the snares, and the low vibrating tactics that you choose to use to entrap a man and to then destroy a family tree with your lies and your deceptions. I'm not here for it. I won't patty cake Baker's man with you about it. We're going to have to be honest about this conversation because there are lives that are continuing to be destroyed because of the lineage leech. That's your name, the lineage leech, because you're stealing a portion that does not belong to you or your children. And you are opting to save yourself and then just throw the father, the stepfather, the step boyfriend, the family. You're opting to throw them all in the fire just to protect yourself from the lie. The lie. And the lineage leech is loose. She is loose in every single city, county, state, country, continent. She's loose. The lineage leech. And you know of a lineage leech. You know about it. And not just from watching TV. I'm speaking about personal encounters with this energy. And this particular energy is destroying the village. This particular energy will raise her hand in church on a Sunday and will pass out when speaking about the blood of Jesus the Christ. But when it comes to the blood of your children, that's what we're speaking about on the culture climate. That's why I said rated R for strong language, thoughts, and ideas, raising the temperature in this controversial conversation because we have to have it again and again and again until a legislation is passed, enforced, and there has to be examples made out of these women so we can curtail the onslaught of this attack on men, attack on the family tree. There has to be legislation that is passed. And there is not anything that is set forth. Still to this date in 2023, I've been talking about this since 2017 and before about paternity fraud, the misrepresentation of identity, intentionally misrepresenting the identity, intentionally misrepresenting identity. I'm going to get it out. Stutter or not, tongue twister or not, I'm going to get it out. I am Sister Speak. I've been speaking about this since 2017, covering this issue because it has affected me personally, and I care about my brothers and my sisters. And until women go to jail for this, it won't stop. I'm still doing the research. I'm still looking up to see, okay, what state's doing what senator has gotten on board with this organization and that organization or this individual and said, yes, I agree with you, who has then gone forth to their constituents and presented, the possibilities of legislation. But, we're still here. Why? Because there is a force that is blocking the ability for men to seek their freedom and advocate the way they should be able to. It's almost as if these laws protect the women and say, fuck the men. And I'm not for that. I'm not one of those women who's going to side with you if you are in the gutter. I'm not going to sit here and side with you if you're on that fuck shit. Why? Because I don't like that type of energy. I can't condone it. I can't agree with it. I can't high five you. I can't do none of that. I can't pop my collar with you about it because it's not cool. Lying about the lineage, leeching off of the lineage is not okay. I don't care what anybody would say in a comment. I don't care how anybody feels. If you feel like it's okay, you are wrong and you are a part of the problem. Period. Let me pause this. Hold on. You are a part of the problem. You are condoning behavior that I find to be deplorable, and so does the Most High God. You can't sit there and go to church and listen to your pastor or whatever stand in the pulpit and get to talking about the lineages in the Bible, and he gets to speaking about the begots and so begot so and so. That's accurate. You no need to go on Maury about what thus saith the Lord. There is even a lineage list in the Bible showing who belongs to who came after who's the father, who's the mother, who's the child. Shows the accurate depiction of lineage, biblical lineage. So we are not going to sit here and say, oh, God is, no, he is serious about the blood and he's serious about lineage. He's serious about it. So you don't wave your hand in the air knowing that you have a whole secret that is destroying. Is destroying lives. How many family trees are off in this world because of a woman's voice saying that you are the daddy? This is who my children belong to. This is my children's family, only for it not to be true. And it goes on. Decade after decade after decade and decade. Before paternity tests were invented, there's something called eyesight. Okay? Before paternity tests and DNA tests came along, there's something called intuition, feeling, eyesight. Well, I can look at you, you can look at me, and I can say you belong to, and you can say, oh, what you belong to. Oh, you look just like, and you just like. And it doesn't have to be deception. There doesn't have to be any type of illusions, just naturally, organically being the biological truth. But y'all don't want to hear that. We're going to get into it on your day. Some of y'all celebrate this shit, Mother's Day, and have no reason to be celebrating it. Period. But then but the audacity to boast, knowing that you have a whole secret or secrets, and these secrets are leeching off of the lineage of a lineage that they don't even belong to. What's wrong with the lineage that they do belong to? There has to be a law. It has to come into play because it is not fair for any man, any man to go through this whole process only to be deceived in the end. But because this world caters to the fuck shit that women do and shun men for having emotions, okay, then there's this shrug of the shoulder like, oh, well, you'll get over it, or you know what? No. There's something extremely sinister when it comes to the child support, and there's something extremely sinister when it comes to this whole paternity fraud situation, and there's something real, there's an energy, and there's something going on, and we have to look into it, and we have to figure out why is it that this energy is continuing to run rampant, and how many family trees the algorithm is off. because of the Lineage Leech. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Hot flashes that you're experiencing, you're listening to The Culture Climate, raising the temperature in controversial conversations on the Sisters Speak show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Rated R for strong language, thoughts, and ideas. Let's get back to the show. Welcome back. You are listening to The Culture Climate on the Sister Speak show. I am Sister Speak, spiritual inspiration shared through the arts, spiritual inspiration shared through Ayana, but you better call me Sister Speak. The dog barking in the background has nothing to do with me. I think I was speaking a little bit too loud, got a little passionate. The dog was like, whoa, check this out. Don't really care. But anyway, I got the window open, got a nice breeze. I'm in a new location. Y'all, I'm in a new location. I just want to let y'all know, just a side note, I'm in a new location. I'm in a home, y'all. I'm in a house. Went from a house to an apartment, back to a house, and I thank the Most High God for blessing me. I thank you, and I thank you. This house is amazing, 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 and I'm relishing in it. So I'm able to record, excuse me, in a different environment, in a more peaceful environment. And you have to know when to go. You have to be willing to grow if you're expecting that glow. And I am grateful for everything that I know. Oh my goodness. So moving forward, we're going to go ahead and get into this news clip because you know how we do it on the Sister Speak show. You're going to have the news clips. You're going to be able to, listen to it for yourself. Okay. Now, once again, I am not a feminist. I am not going to ride with you on the bullshit. I am passionate about this subject because I have seen what it can do firsthand. I have seen how far a lineage leech will go. It is a nasty journey. And there are many people who are devastated to this day, and they have no idea that they've been devastated because they have been robbed of the truth. And that's not right. And in our village, for all shades of brown people, the Sister Speak show is speaking to, in our village, y'all know that's not acceptable. You know that we have taken on a shrug your shoulder energy and mentality and vibe and passed it on like, oh, well. When did we get like that? And who said it was okay to be so nonchalant about pressing matters, about the elephant in the room? You talk about this shit in your circles. Everybody knows, but when it comes to seeing the victims, y'all don't say shit. And that's why you're not a warrior. You're a spectator. You watch people go down. You know that you've got information. Who gives a fuck if you ain't gonna be cool with the people no more? Somebody's got to be the whistleblower at some point in time. Y'all scared? Y'all scared to tell this man the truth? These brothers the truth? Instead, y'all talk about it in the barber shops. Y'all talk about it in the beauty shops. Y'all talk about it through text. Y'all talk about it, but you don't have any action that would save the children and the man. And then the other people who are indirectly yet directly affected by it via i.e. the aunts, the uncles, the grandparents, the cousins. Come on. The siblings, come on. This is about being completely selfish. We're going to get into it. I thank you for being a wonderful listening audience. I thank you. I want you to please listen to these clips for educational purposes only. I want to send a special shout out to every news entity that has covered this issue, that has decided to investigate journalistically this issue, who has decided to speak on behalf of the disenfranchised, if you will, on this issue of inequality. Let's get into it. Oh, I'm back. I never left. I just had some things to do.
DNA testing has been widely used in criminal cases for years, but now it is taking center stage in more and more civil court battles, as CBS's Maureen Maher reports in tonight's Eye on America. The technology is making some already bitter child custody cases even more contentious.
Morgan Wise is the only dad his children have ever known.
This is Raleigh, he's the youngest, Marty, Rowdy, and Carly.
But in just one day, 3 of them lost their father.
Raleigh's the one with cystic fibrosis.
2 years ago, a family doctor informed Wise that genetic tests confirmed he was not a carrier of cystic fibrosis.
And that's when he said, there's no way that this boy could be yours.
Paternity tests revealed Wise did not father Rowley or his 2 other sons, Marty and Rowdy. Of his 4 children, only the oldest, Carly, was biologically his.
I am their dad. I'm just not your birth father.
Wise never questioned paternity at the time he and the children's mother divorced in 1996. But now he says,
child support needs to come from their biological father.
Texas law disagrees. A judge ruled Wise must continue paying $1,100 a month in child support, and then revoked his visitation for telling the boys he was not their birth father. Phyllis Royal represents Wanda Fryer, the children's mother.
These children know Morgan Wise's dad, and basically he's emotionally scarred these children.
The emotional aspect, the psychological aspect has already been inflicted. So what's left? Money. That's it. She wants the money, he don't want to pay it.
The courts have always assumed that a child born within a marriage was fathered by the husband. And if a man questioned paternity, he had to do so before a custody battle was settled. But DNA testing has become so easy and so popular that dozens of complicated cases like this one are now clogging the system. Paternity testing has spawned a whole new industry. In Baltimore, billboards for one lab have this famous forefather hawking the latest DNA technology. And last year, more than 250,000 men bought into it. The results, roughly 30% who took the test found out it wasn't them. For the sake of the child, family law experts believe the courts are unlikely to catch up with science.
They're very reluctant to leave a child without support.
Financial or emotional. So, who's the victim here?
I want to say me first, because this was done to me because I was her husband and the children.
Some might argue it's the other way around. But Morgan Wise and thousands lined up behind him appear willing to test that theory. In Big Spring, Texas, I'm Maureen Maher for Eye on America.
Kelly, thank you. One man's life going through some unnecessary legal drama. This after receiving a letter that he had fathered a child with a woman he'd never even met. Now, vindication of sorts. It's a follow-up to a story I brought you earlier this year on his legal fight and what comes next.
She don't know me. How do you just put my name down? How do you just put anybody's names down? I don't know her, never seen her. Still to this day, haven't talked to her. And it just proved out that the baby has no ties to my name. And thankfully, the lady did bring the child in to get tested. And that's all I needed to happen.
This letter from friend of the court reads in part, Dear Mr. Smith, enclosed is a copy of the genetic test results, excluding you as the father.
Let's just set the record. I trust my husband because I know his character. Man of integrity.
I would like to say relief, but it's kind of like confirmation, really, because I already knew that I had no ties and no links to this child or this woman, and to have that letter come to my house, it was a little unnerving, but not from the standpoint of being caught up in something. It was a little unnerving that a letter like this could come to my house having no legitimacy to it.
We first brought you the story of D'Angelo Smith in late January when he presented some wild allegations against friend of the court in Berrien County. The initial letter sent to his home stated a woman who we are not naming alleging him to be the father of her daughter, a child between the age of 1 and 2 years old.
She's a stripper from Detroit. We had a one-night stand at some hotel that we supposed to have been and went to, and and this is a story that was told to me.
While playing the waiting game for the alleged mother to bring in the baby for a DNA sample, the school where D'Angelo Smith teaches received an inquiry for possible garnishment if things did not go in his favor.
Where it made it not something that was being alleged, now it's something that's being taken into action, and there's no paternity been established.
But clearly, these test results confirm that to no longer be the case.
With that being said, strong marriage or not, clean past or not, that's a very tough letter for anyone to receive.
Absolutely.
Without any proof.
Absolutely. It is. The main things that they have to provide to the state of Michigan is a name and a birth date and where they live. That's easy information for someone to gather off of Google, off of Facebook, off of any kind of social media platform.
People who have checkered pasts, who have done things in the past, who have, stepped out and did things that was unbecoming of a real man, right? And so, but they've changed and they've cleaned up their act and they've gotten better, which all of us have the opportunity of doing or getting better. But a letter like this coming to that house, a man that has changed his ways, that has walked in a different direction, this letter could be absolutely devastating because of what you've done before.
We made several calls to lawmakers in Lansing who are familiar with this particular topic to get some answers.
It's very unfortunate, but paternity fraud is not a unique, unusual situation in Michigan.
Senator Jim Runstead tells me he's been pushing for new legislation on the matter during the past 8 years, saying right now there's no penalty for lying. Senator, what was the opposition for not passing this kind of legislation?
Well, maybe it would hinder mothers who don't want to name a particular guy or they made a mistake, but you had to knowingly name the wrong person. It becomes emotional stuff.
Respectfully, to mandate that DNA testing for the child is conducted first before a letter is sent to someone's home alleging they may be the father of a child regarding a woman whom they have never met, doesn't that seem like common sense type of legislation?
I tell you, Joshua, the common sense goes out the window. I'd be more than happy to put that bill in. I'm telling you, it wouldn't even get a hearing in committee. I'll guarantee it wouldn't even get a hearing in committee. I ran across this before.
And the only reason I believe that this woman came in was because of Fox 2. Fox 2 provided a platform where the word got out and this word spread it like wildfire quickly to the point where the lady came in. Now I asked the friend of the courts about bringing her in. They said, well, we just have to wait until she comes in. But I thank God that Fox 2 provided a platform where the lady was able to come in, but everybody does not have that opportunity for Fox 2 to show up at their doorstep to help them out.
A lot to wrap your head around, guys. Real quick, as we did in our initial story, we called friend of the court for a comment, but have not heard back. In the meantime, Senator Jim Runstead tells me if you're caught in a similar situation, your best option is to hire an attorney if possible. Also, and this is very key, reach out to your lawmakers. The senator says more bipartisanship is much needed on this very touchy matter.
It could destroy a whole relationship. I mean, luckily, here's a guy that has,
he has a solid household.
That's very some people would have packed up and left and said, I just don't believe you. You could have destroyed a life.
Bingo.
Unbelievable story. For them to send that to work, can you imagine if you worked at a certain place and the rumors would start to spread?
Yes.
I mean, it is potentially not only family
Definition of
disrupting,
character
but
in the
your
public eye.
character and your life.
Absolutely.
I can't imagine how frustrated that family was while they were trying to get answers.
Highly frustrated, Amy and Jay. Highly frustrated because, again, you're getting an inquiry about your finances without even confirmation if you're connected to this particular case.
Hey, where's the proof? Wow.
A lot more dialogue is needed on this matter, Lansing, for sure.
Thanks for bringing that to light.
We'll be right back. The exact percentage is slightly off. I'm not going to be exact, but it's something around 10% of men are raising a kid that they think is theirs, but is actually not theirs. I'm not talking about stepdads. I'm talking about that he thinks that is his son or daughter, and it's the postman's or whatever.
That's why they got to be mandatory DNA tests on child.
I agree with that 100%. 100%.
I agree. 100%.
I agree too. So we'll get a DNA, and since I know what I'm doing, why don't you put a wager on it? You know, like smooth 100 bands.
Why should I have the name?
We could just put a wager.
That sounds like you're trying to psych him out of doing it in the first place.
Percent of the males who get DNA tested annually, according to the American Association of Blood Banks, which is the accrediting body for the DNA labs. This is over 44 DNA labs throughout the United States. They are testing close to 500,000 men per year, and over 30% of them have been confirmed that he didn't do it. 0.0% paternity. But sadly, because this primarily affects men and boys, there's been attempts to try to discredit me. The problem is not the men who got tested. The problem is laws that subscribe to the Me Too movement. They say, believe all women. Cornell Smith says, believe all evidence. Frame for a pregnancy that I didn't commit, I had legally admissible evidence to prove that I didn't do it. And my attorney told me we had less than a 10% chance of winning with 2 DNA tests proving that I didn't do it. We subpoenaed the mother and her family members, and only then did we find out she actually got pregnant 6 weeks after I broke up with her. That is not the story that she told. How do you have less than a 20% chance of winning when you can prove you didn't do it? You can prove the other party knowingly and willingly concealed material facts from you. This led to a journey of battling through the courts over a 5-year period, child support lawsuit, 2 bench trials, appeal to the Court of Appeals in the state, appeal to the state Supreme Court, and then an appeal to the United States Supreme Court because a fraud had been perpetrated on me, on my family, and on the child.
Now, under current Michigan law, a man may not be the father, but still owe child support for children who clearly aren't his. But a bill moving through the state legislature is looking to change that. That bill would protect men from being forced to pay for another man's child. State Representative Jim Runstead introduced the bill, and he's here along with Carneal Alexander, the head of Dads by Default and the Carneal Alexander Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. First of all, Carneal, tell us a little bit about your story. You're the victim of this type of procedure and this type of, I want to say mix-up, but it's not a mix-up.
No, it's not a mix-up. It's blatant mishandling of legal documents. I put it in that terms. Somewhere in the year of 1989, a child support case was brought to the court against me. But at that present time, I was incarcerated. So the process server lied and said he encountered me at my dad's house, and I refused to sign the paperwork. So that paperwork got pushed into the system, and they started the bill.
So that's when the clock started running. You clearly were not served because you could not physically have been where they said they served you.
Right.
Let's fast forward this. How long had that clock been ticking? How much money accumulated? And how did they try to get this money from you?
Well, I'm a construction worker for Locals Labor 1191 here in Detroit. And as I began to put my life together after coming home from prison from the encounter that I had when I was a younger man, I started to work construction, and they started to deduct it out of my salary, take my tax form, income taxes and stuff like that.
So they began taking money for children that were not yours. Representative, how common a situation is this, and how does this even happen?
Well, there was a study done down south for individuals who the mother was applying for assistance. Almost 1/3 were not the father that was named. What happened to Carnell is a prime example. He was not the father of this child, and the mother knew he was not the father's child, so she knowingly made a false allegation. The bill that we have on paternity fraud is that it is a misdemeanor if you are knowingly making a false allegation that this person is the father, because it destroys lives, as Carnell has underwent. We also have a bill that's going to pass tomorrow, and that is to make it perjury for these process servers to lie. What happened in his case was an example that, fortunately, he had the evidence to say that it was lie. If he didn't have that evidence, he would be owing $130,000 in back child support for a child that is not his because of the mother was not truthful and the process server was not truthful.
But, from a logistic standpoint, we all know the child is not, for instance, Carnell's. The mother admits it. DNA tests prove that, and there was no relationship, you weren't married to the woman.
No.
So how in the world can he just be put on the hook and say, you know something, you're just stuck. Good luck.
It's unfortunate that in a situation like that, where a mother who knows he's never had a relationship with this man, he is not the father, can name him, and if there is a process server who is not truthful and says, well, I served you, you have 21 days to respond. If you don't, you are on the hook for that child support for the rest of that time with that child.
Well, thank you so much for bringing a spotlight on this and doing your work in Lansing. And Carnell, thank you so much for sharing your story and putting a spotlight on this. I appreciate it. I appreciate you both.
Can free an innocent person, but in our state, those tests might not be enough to determine paternity, at least not in the eyes of our courts.
That's because of a state law that a group of men and women call unfair to both children and parents.
Como investigator Tracy Vetter looked into the families fighting what they call paternity fraud.
As a young man who's always raised, do the right thing, do what you're supposed to do. Take care of your children. Oh yeah, there's some more of him there.
Brandon Jones hasn't seen the young boy he called his son in more than 10 years.
We were both robbed.
This is my first picture with my daughter right here. It was one of the greatest moments of my entire life.
CJ Abernathy hasn't seen his now 5-year-old daughter in a year and a half. Abernathy delights in his youngest daughter. It doesn't remove the pain of that other loss.
Destroyed me. Emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally. It destroyed me.
We're not using the names of the children or their mothers. Both situations are fraught with the emotionally messy issues surrounding family breakups.
Yeah.
But what sets them apart is that the one bit of definitive scientific evidence, DNA paternity tests, made absolutely no difference in either case.
It's frustrating. That whole aspect of it is very frustrating.
It all comes down to this simple legal document, the paternity affidavit. Brandon Jones signed the affidavit believing what the mother told him, that he was the boy's father.
That's him and my mom there.
For the next several years, including a deployment to Iraq, the boy was an integral part of Jones' family.
This was before he was 1. This was the house that I had bought. This is him and my mom.
When the boy was 7, Jones went to court to improve his visitation schedule. Instead, he was blindsided.
I want to have regular visitation with my kid, and she says, sure. If you're the dad, we'll get right on that.
We contacted the mother, who confirms the basics of what happened next. A paternity test revealed Jones could not possibly be the father. He says he still wanted to be the boy's dad, but the court cut off all contact.
And then all of a sudden, he was not only ripped out of my life, but he was ripped out of my stepdaughter's life, and my wife's life.
But Jones' name is still on that paternity affidavit. Once that affidavit is signed, parents have just 4 years to make changes. That deadline had long passed, so the state still considers him the boy's father, and for years forced him to pay monthly child support for a boy he could not find.
I do get heated about it because today is 569 days since I've had contact with my daughter.
Abernathy's case is the opposite. DNA proves he is his daughter's biological father. But because his name was never on the affidavit of paternity, and he didn't know about the 4-year deadline, a judge ruled he has no legal right to his daughter.
I'm just a dad who wants to be a dad. How is that a crime in this country? All because of this piece of paper.
This.
Both men now are part of a group working to change paternity laws.
You shouldn't be able to declare someone a father without a DNA test.
They believe the DNA test and its definitive information should be the starting point, giving parents 4 years from then to go to court. And they have legislative support.
I think we need to have fairness.
Representative Michelle Collier believes a bill may have enough traction to pass this year.
In this day and age, we have very complex families. And at the same time, I also think that it's important for people to know the truth. Here's another one.
And that's what the group says it's after, the truth.
Everybody wants to know who they are.
They insist it's not about child support or visitation, but about children who deserve to know where they come from. Representative Collier will co-sponsor.
Pause. Now, normally, I will let it play until the end of the clips because I want you to hear it without any interruptions. So if I have to pause it, it's because I have to hit on this point right here. Because children need to know where they come from. Do you hear that, Lineage Leech? I want all the Lineage Leeches to hear that. Children need to know where they come from. Not where you want them to come from, but actually where they come from. And that is the reason why I have been an advocate about this issue since it hit my marriage. I don't play these games. And ever since I was made privy to what was going on, it has just been research after research. And the entire drive is the children need to know where they come from. They have a right. They have a right, just like you and I have a right, to know where they come from and who they belong to. They have a right to connect the dots. They have a right to know what is going on in our family medically. They have a right to know why they are the way that they are. They have a right to be able to link and connect the dots. They have a right to know that this is their real. This is their real. This is their real. This is their real. It is not fair to conceal this pertinent information from a child or children just to cover up your own escapades and scandals. The children have a right to know where they come from, and anybody interfering in that right is guilty by association. You are a walking misdemeanor. Engaging in any concealment of the truth, you are guilty by association. There's no argument that trumps or supersedes or overrules the fact that the children have a right to know where they come from.
What's being called the Brandon Jones Act this session. Legal Voice, a women's advocacy organization, testified against similar bills in the past and says this type of legislation can deprive a child of a parent with whom they've established a long-term relationship. Reporting live in the newsroom, Tracy Vetter, Como Investigators.
But it also speaks to how much power that women in particular have via family courts. Because she can levy that power against a man arbitrarily. Because like you're saying, yes, she chose you. 11 years later, she could run off the name of someone else, meaning that she knew the possibilities, but she could pick you, and there didn't seem to be anything legally
there to protect you and provide a window for there to be some kind of verification. Now, to my understanding, you took it to the court. Am I incorrect?
Yeah,
you took it to the court to say this is what we found.
Let's unfolding this. So once I get the results here, and I'm in shock. I'm sad. I'm hurt, and I'm like, oh man, this is messed up. But then I thought about it. It's like, there is no way she doesn't know that she was having unprotected relations with somebody else. It's not possible. If she wasn't under attack or anything of the sort, then there's no way she doesn't know she was involved with someone else. So I contact my attorney. I'm like, wait a minute. There's no sense in me continuing to pay this money for child support when this is for a pregnancy I didn't commit. DNA proves I didn't commit this pregnancy. And by facts that a child gets their DNA half from their mom and half from their father, then there's nothing in this relationship for me. And by the way, the mother has interfered with me trying to see the child. I've had to call the police to try to exercise parenting time with the child. And then I find out the child is not mine. I am not going to keep fighting to see a child that I can't see, that's not mine, and risk going to jail and prison for a very high child support order. I want out of the court system. And that's what I said to my lawyer. He says, listen, you need to share these results with her because I'm not willing to pay another dime. So I sued her. I sued her for fraud because the law says a knowing and willful concealment of a material fact constitutes fraud. So between me and her, only one of us knew she had been involved with someone else and that she really got pregnant 6 weeks after I broke up with her. Now, I didn't know that, and that's not the story that she told. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
This was not a short-term relationship. We had dated for 2.5 years until that moment she said some things to me that led to us breaking up, and I told her goodbye. You know, you go your way, I'll go mine. But as I get to the court, we file a lawsuit, and the judge says it's my fault that I didn't find out sooner before I even knew anything about her being involved with somebody else.
Now to at 10, News Channel 3 getting to the bottom of a burning question one Memphis man has been trying to answer for years. Why is Shelby County Juvenile Court forcing him to pay for a child that is not biologically his? What's even more unusual, he says the judges at Juvenile Court have an idea who the real father is.
Yet they're still demanding he pay up. Now he's turning to On Your Side investigator Stephanie Skurlock for help. Talk show TV makes millions off the catchphrase, "You are not the father." But the reality in Memphis is just because you're not the daddy doesn't mean Shelby County Juvenile Court won't make you pay.
I was down there in handcuffs and chains.
Over the years, Edward Bowdery had his driver's license stripped and once even found himself in handcuffs over child support payments for a child that's not his.
I would hate to see somebody else go through the same thing. I've been going through this. Headaches.
This mound of paperwork shows a juvenile court judge ordered him to pay child support even before the birth.
I didn't do a voluntary acknowledgement. I didn't sign the birth certificate. All I knew is we legitimated the child in your name.
Bowdery asked several judges during several hearings for a DNA test, but no judge ordered one.
I said, how did I even get put on child support? And I never said this was my child. And they said, again, this is not what we're here for.
In 2009, he took the child himself to get a DNA test and found the son he'd supported for years was not biologically his. He took the documentation to court. The judge wouldn't accept it, but ordered a new DNA test done that showed the same results. Probability of paternity, 0%.
They never did do what they were originally supposed to do, which was give me the opportunity to take a DNA test. I was just a voice not being heard, so I guess I needed a choir.
Juvenile court magistrate Nancy Kessler agreed in October to allow Bowery to disestablish paternity, but only after, he says, she admonished him for taking it this far.
The judge stated that, well, I find it very distasteful that you're bastardizing a child.
The judge stopped the child support going forward, but Bowery still has to pay $460 a month to the mother in back pay. He doesn't believe he should have to pay anything. In fact, he believes someone owes him money, the $30,000 he's already paid. Administrators at juvenile court denied our request for an interview on this case, saying it's not appropriate to comment about rulings. What are the chances of him getting his money back?
It is very unusual and very infrequent.
Family lawyer Miles Mason says in a similar case, the Tennessee Supreme Court ruled a man in Middle Tennessee could sue his ex-wife for fraud. He got a $100,000 judgment.
There was a very large judgment awarded against the mother, but I doubt it would be likely that they would be able to collect in most cases.
This bill is simple, that a person who is proven not to be the biological father.
State Representative G.A. Hardaway says he's heard from a number of fathers in his district who were like Bowery. He introduced a bill letting them file civil lawsuits against the biological fathers, but it never made it out of committee.
To a degree, justice needs to be served. I think it needs to be a totally different, a new law or something.
The question many people might ask, why is Bowery still paying back pay to the child's mother? Well, we're told by law the new judge he's dealing with can't undo another judge's ruling. For the On Your Side investigators, Stephanie Skurlock, WREG News, Channel 3.
You are currently listening to The Lineage Leech, when paternity fraud destroys the family tree, on the Culture Climate on the Sisters Speak show. The season of you being prey has come to an end. Family, friend, foe versus your freedom. What are you going to choose? The latest episode of the Vent Session on the Sisters Speak show is available on demand now. Episode 2, Stop Being Weak. We're covering haters in your life. Why are they howling at you? Car chases. Let me out the car. This doesn't taste good. Where's the original recipe? Protecting adulterers. Why are your people scanless? Rent, utility, and food relief. Learning how to ask for help and people who don't help. The Sister Speak show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Click the link for the latest episode. Warriors, mount up and be encouraged. You were already warned that she was sleeping with the ops, and you're still gonna go over there and lay your head on her pillow. The latest episode of the tour on the Sister Speak show is available on demand now. Rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts. On this episode, Snakes in the Studio, Part 2, Two-Faced Managers and Artists, Poison in the Pillow, He Said, She Said, Now Someone's Dead. Click the link in the bio for the latest episode of the Sister Speak show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Be careful. Rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts. There won't be any more warnings. That's why your heart is beating fast. He's out there again. You can see him from the stage. He's obsessed with you. That's why he's taking your pictures. You're his fantasy. The latest episode of the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak show is available on demand now. Rated R for strong content, language, and thoughts. On this episode, Fantasies and Felonies. Strip Club Killers. On the Suspense Files, we cover the who, what, when, where, why in urban crime, including crimes of passion, deadly relationships, mysteries, urban cold cases, and more. Click the link for the latest episode of the Sister Speak show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Be careful. Try not to fall in love with this stripper. Vision, sound, action, create, inspire, impact, evolve. You are now activated. Oh, the joy and the laughter, the presence and the energy that a baby brings is something that can melt most hearts. And it is that presence of that baby that unites the families together. But when you decide to lie about that baby's lineage, you are a lineage leech. One thing for certain, two things for sure. When we are, I know y'all like, please stop the baby from crying. The baby will stop crying momentarily. But as a lineage leech, what you're doing is you are creating devastation where these tears that you hear right now will become adult tears, teenage tears, primary year tears, whenever that child does find out, if that child even finds out the truth, that you have been lying about who their dad is, their father is. You heard the clips. You were able to listen to what this does to a man. But because the village is so conditioned to shrug their shoulders and not give a damn about the emotions of a man, you or some just don't care what this does to a man, because who cares about what a man feels? This world is so conditioned to shun a man for feeling anything. So even if this does happen to him, who cares about what it does to him? Because we don't care about his emotions or value his emotions anyway. So because we have no value on his tears, and we completely degrade him and insult him for crying, expressing his feelings, there's a conditioning, and it's a bad conditioning, and there's a dysfunction in the approach to what a man feels, how we are to approach how a man feels after something happens to him, such as paternity fraud, such as finding out that he laid with a lineage leech, finding out that a child who he sat there and was there for, if he was there for the pregnancy, and he assimilated into the role because you told him that this is the role you're supposed to be in. This is your child. I'm pregnant with your baby. And he believes it. Now, we can't sit here and, it's a lot of times where if he does it, you talk shit. If he doesn't do it, you talk shit. You are the people, those who, don't leave any room for a miracle, don't leave any room for just for wisdom. You are the people who are fucking up the village. Your thought processes are invading the algorithm of those who are vibrating high, those who use wisdom, those who activate and live in their consciousness and are actually aware of their neighbors and have and understand a law of reciprocity and a good vibration. Those who know that we're supposed to be on a higher level of how we interact with one another. Those who know that this is pollution and that there has to be a solution. When you sit here and you steal a man's lineage from him, That is wrong, and there has to be a punishment that comes for that and with that. I don't understand why this energy is leaning towards the left when it has to be balanced. No man should have his lineage leached upon by a woman who knows right well that he is not the biological father. And no state should allow this to happen, but it happens. That's why this, like I said, and not like I said, excuse me, the word says, this people will call good bad and bad good. A mockery has been made out of you not being the father. That shit ain't funny. When has it ever really been funny? It's not this big old thing where you dance and clap and run around stage and fall out and lie and say it couldn't be anybody else, knowing you got about 5 different pairs of skeets all running through your vaginal canal. The mockery of you not being a father, that shit is not funny. And primarily we see our people used as the Sambo dolls to promote the you are not the father energy and the ignorance that comes with it, the dances that come with it, the loud roars about it, the I told yous, all of that shit, because 99.9% of these people have no business having sex in the first fucking place. Start at the root. Don't give a fuck what anybody says. I'm serious about that. And here we are 10, 12 years later, still in the you are not the father, but so damn what? You're going to still pay this child support. You're going to still be responsible. I don't care how much proof you have. I don't care who your lawyer is. I don't care about any of that type of stuff. I'm going to simply sit here and I'm going to take from you. I'm going to steal from your lineage. Not only is the woman stealing from the lineage, now you have the court stealing from the lineage. And this is a part of that colonizing energy. You tell me wherein is it biblical for this to happen? And listening to the judge say, well, he is bastardizing these kids and he is hurting them by unassigning himself from a role that he was never assigned to. He was manipulated into it. He was forced into it. He was deceived into it. How dare she, as a woman, sit there and say that he is responsible? No, she is. The mother is responsible for bastardizing those children, for lying about who their real father is. The gaslighting, the projection, that is unfair. To then make a man feel guilty for wanting to be free and explore to get to his own lineage, to have his own lineage be accurate. How could you fault him for that? How could you even fix your lips, your heart, your soul, your spirit to say that? How could you even have a brain that could even hold a brain cell that would even come up with that and then shoot that shit out at that man or at any man to make him feel guilty for wanting to escape? He doesn't have to stick around. No man, once a man finds out, I'm always saying, I don't care what anybody says. No man should stick around at all. Every man should run and start his own lineage, his true lineage. But where is the therapy for the devastation for the man? I'm not talking about the woman. She knew what she was doing from the rip. Where is the therapy for the man who has to now undo his lack of trust? Probably doesn't, very cautious about having sex, not wanting to, excuse me, get involved with another woman, now doesn't even want to be a father again because he has been robbed of his true experience. Sitting there watching this woman give birth and watching another man's child come out. I don't care what y'all say. That's not right. That is devastating. And depending on the type of coping mechanisms that this man has, or these men have, this can leave a trail of destruction. An abrupt stop to the ongoing of this man's lineage because of what this woman did, what she knew she was doing. And then she's protected by lawmakers, by the courts, excuse me, by her family and friends. Oh yeah, the family and friends, some of them be in on it too. And then some of them just be as devastated. You know, there's two groups when it comes to the lineage leech. There's the lineage leech who has, this is what they do. This is a family of lineage leeches. They do this to men. They prey upon men. They collect child support from multiple men on one child, two child. They do this. They lie. They play a wicked game. And the family is in on it. They all know that this man is not the father. But when he comes around, they smile in his face. They take his money. They take whatever perks come with him. And they leech, they leech, they leech, they leech. That name is leeched. That last name is leeched and lied upon. Every time that child's last name is mentioned, it's a lie. And that is not right for that child to have their first name be the truth and their last name be a lie. Speak, sister. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that we're going to let your first name be the truth, but we're going to let your last name be a lie? Oh, where do they do that at? Where do they do that at? All over. All over. And then you have the second group where everybody is devastated because nobody knew except for the mother. So we're talking about both sides having to learn the truth. And then what do we do about this now that this precious child or these precious children are now the victim of this mother's heinous, quote unquote, misdemeanor, this crime? Nobody, and then the father is, he's a hero if he stays, but he's a jerk if he leaves. He was no good anyway if he leaves. You're the only father that they've ever known. And whose fault is that? Well, excuse me, we're not here to sit here and pussyfoot around anything and to sit here and serve cotton candy. That's not what we're going to do on the culture climate. We're going to get into it. I don't care if it's 200 degrees. So what? So what? This sweltering hopefully will provide a purging of the effery that is plaguing the lineage of our brothers, the valuable ones, the man created before us. I don't co-sign with the women who like to destroy men, who hate men, who are hell-bent on being a hellcat, a heathen, a pagan, who want to go around and being a dick destroyer. Just keeping it 100. You are horrible. Your energy is horrible, and it contaminates the village, which makes men look at other women who are not with it as the same. So I have to separate myself and call it out because we're not for it. So when you have these two groups of where everybody knows about it because this is what they do, hee hee ha ha, you've got a community of people know, the people know at the church, the people know at the bar, the barbershop, everywhere around town, the whole community knows about this lie except for the man and except for the children. You tell me how that's right. How is that right? Have we gotten to a point where lineage doesn't matter, where the truth about where we come from doesn't matter? Have we been that far removed from the knowledge of who we are that we just don't care anymore about where we come from? When you go to a family reunion, is it really a family reunion? Is that really your uncle, your aunt, your grandpa, your grandma, your cousin, your brother, your sister, your dad? Who are these people? Is that really, like who do I belong to? Do you think children don't see things? Do you think a child who is the victim of being of the lineage leech doesn't look at that man and cannot recognize themselves in that man? Do you think as a child gets older that that child is not going to look like their biological father? Are you still willing to then perpetuate the lie, promote the propaganda, and do everything you can to cover up the fact that you're a lineage leech? A man is not a hero if he sticks around just to make sure that the child is not bastardized. The woman has an obligation to tell the truth and do whatever she needs to do with the biological father. So what? You can't always have emotions in things. You have to know how to say, so what? Fix that shit. So what? Fix that shit right there. You need to fix it. Don't let this linger, because it's going to come back and slap you upside the head eventually. This isn't a good look, sis. You shouldn't do him like that. Where are the women who stand up to these young bop thoughts and say to them, this isn't the way? But you know what? There's some older bop thoughts who have done this, who still have not told Junior, who is now 35, that Senior is not really senior to him. You've got a lot of juniors running around here who are not juniors to this man right here. And you've got a lot of seniors running around here who are not really seniors to the junior. You tell me if that's okay. It's not. That is another thing that has to be undone by the lineage leech. But the lineage leech is always protected. She is forced to have to come forth with little or no accountability when it comes to giving the truth, speaking the truth about the true representation of identity for the children. But on this day, there are sisters who are lineage leeches who are celebrating Mother's Day. And in their gut, they're carrying a secret, a lie. And it's not okay to leech off of somebody else's lineage. To go to the courts and have to fight to be removed from this responsibility because, Your Honor, I'm not the father. And to have to say Your Honor where there's nothing to honor, because nothing honorable is being done to vindicate these men. And then you have lawyers who are set in place to work with the court system and not for the fathers. Why are fathers not important? When did we get to the point that a father is not important? I don't subscribe to it. I rebuke it. I will not allow myself to be possessed by the energy that makes me go against the order and the way and how we are supposed to treat the fathers. When you whistleblow, You have to be prepared for backlash. You will be seen as the enemy when it comes to speaking up about the truth. Do you know how much fire? Hold on, let me actually pause this. Do you know how much, even though you have to do it, but you're going to experience a lot of backlash. That's not to discourage you, but this is just, you have to equip the warriors for the battle. You cannot have the warriors ever going into the enemy's camp blind, deaf, dumb. You're going to experience hate from those who have been in on it all this time. Those who are the demons, the spirits who are set in place to steal, kill, and destroy. When you speak up about this injustice, because it's an injustice, you're going to have backlash because you are presenting the opportunity for this man to be set free. Nobody should have to beg and plead for any type of court system to look at evidence and have to go back and forth when the truth is right there. When you make the DNA test mandatory, you have to get all alleged fathers. You cannot just test one man and then exclude the other fathers. You need to bring the fathers in. But when you attempt to subpoena the other fathers, that's when the woman gets to shaking in her boots, because now you're going to find out that she's really for the streets, okay? She's really out there. And a lot of women are just really trying to protect their reputation. That's it. They don't give a fuck about nothing else. They want to protect their reputation. They want to give their child a last name because they don't want to be seen as any. They want to they're people pleasing, but they're doing it the wrong way. If you're gonna people please, at least be doing the right thing. And I'm not an advocate for people pleasing, but I'm just saying though, when you present your self as a community whore, there's backlash. When you uncut, when nobody, there's just certain secrets that people just don't want out. And that's why this is running rampant. There's a lot of people who are hooking up sexually, and it's a secret. The new age term would be sneaky link. But it's a secret. And if it's found out that this person was having sex with this person, and not only having sex, but unprotected sex, they fear that the backlash is far greater, the consequences are far greater, and they are not able to deal with that, so they go into hiding. And they go into hiding via lying about who the real father is. The problem is with the finger pointing and the saying that you're the dad is because, hey, about 85% of these men have had sex with these women. So that's where they get drawn into the vicious cycle of, being of the vicious snare of the lineage leech, because you're actually laying with these women, which goes back to what I'm saying about our people in the villages. Too much sex. There's too much of it going on. There's a lot of miss sex education, a lot of STDs, a lot of unwanted pregnancies. Let's just keep it, a buck. And the lack of abstinence, the lack of celibacy is why this is also happening. You know, on the Culture Climate or any any segment of my network, that I'm going to say that there are several ingredients that contribute to the lineage leech. If you don't lay with one, you are putting yourself in a less than likely category of being a victim of a lineage leech. How much do you need to bust a nut? How much do you need to get it off? How much sex do you feel you need to be having as a single unmarried man? As a single unmarried man, how much sex do you think you need to be having? And in that, why are you having sex without a condom? Why are you going inside of her? Is it that moment? I mean, what is it? Because let's just keep it real. We really don't know who we are laying with. It really takes some time to get to know somebody. But who has time? Who has the virtue of patience? Everybody wants microwave vagina. Everybody wants microwave penis. Everybody wants microwave fellatio. And everybody wants microwave cunnilingus. If you want microwave sodomy, I rebuke you in the name of the Most High God. And I'm really going to rebuke you on the cunnilingus and the fellatio at this point, because we're putting our mouths in places that we probably shouldn't be putting our mouths in places. Real talk. So the lack of self-control is putting you closer to the snare of a lineage leech. Have you considered abstaining from sex, brother? Have you considered abstaining from sex, sister? So this doesn't even have to be your story. So you don't have to walk around and in shame and have to continue to live with the anxiety and be haunted by the truth of this is not the lineage that your children have been assigned to. You know, there's still room for repentance. There's still room for growth. There's still room for deliverance. There's still room for turnaround. There's still room for the outcome not to be as bad as you are anticipating. You know, but if you just live in the darkness of it, if you live in the scandal of it, if you refuse to budge from it, then shit, the disaster is coming to your doorstep in one way, shape, or form. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Lineage Leech, when paternity fraud destroys the family tree, on the Culture Climate on the Sisters Speak show. Slingshot season. This is Sister Speak with a word of encouragement. Spiritual warfare is real, and it is slingshot season. That's right. You are prepared for this. It is time for you to defeat the bears, the lions, and the giants in your life. You are stronger than what you think, and when you are chosen, you are anointed. No longer can you operate in the spirit of fear, and no longer can your boundaries be attacked. Carnal weapons produce carnal results. Spiritual weapons produce spiritual results. Get your smooth stones and your slingshot ready, because being victorious and more than a conqueror is a part of your lineage. Because our cousin David was about that life. Your enemy's plans are deterred, decapitated, and destroyed. Be encouraged. It's always time to podcast and chill with the Sister Speak show. We want to be the flavor in your ear. That's why we added a new segment, The Hair Appointment, focusing on hair, skin, and nails, with tips, products, and wisdom. We were covering this topic on the Upgrade and in the Speak Sister Speak mobile magazine. On The Hair Appointment, we will embrace, we will learn, we will refrain, and we will embody our crown, because our hair is our crown and glory, and we must protect it. We can't allow any type of damage or lack of wisdom to be the reason why we lose our crown. It's time for the glow up and to express yourself in a high vibration. Why not? Thank you for podcasting and chilling with the Sister Speak Show. The platform is no longer a part of the Sister Speak network. Whether you're at work, at home, or on the road, it's always a great time to podcast and chill. And I'm inviting you to podcast and chill with me, Sister Speak, and listen to the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve, with 6 segments that include the platform, coming to the stage, the suspense files, the culture climate, the laugh line, and the tour, with over 170 episodes guaranteed to motivate you, encourage you, and have you laughing. Why not? I'm excited to podcast and chill with you. It'll be worth your time. I guarantee it. I'll see you later. Welcome back. I am Sister Speak. You are listening to The Culture Climate on the Sister Speak Show. On The Culture Climate, we are raising the temperature in controversial conversations. And just to let you know, we have 8 segments on the Sister Speak Show and over 230 episodes. That's an old commercial. Excuse me. Moving forward, brothers and sisters, let's dive into this. You know, when it comes to the Lineage Leech and it comes to that first group I was talking about, the ones who know about it, but they don't want to do anything to help emancipate the man or help emancipate the children. It's this big secret and everybody's talking about it, but nobody's brave enough to actually say something. You know, one of the issues that has really messed up the algorithm of true lineage identity is the fact that you have so many women, primarily women, who get in the way of the brother trying to set himself free. As I talked about with the judge, you try to make the man feel bad for escaping. And so you have, the family who has gotten attached to the children, gotten attached to, all of that, the dynamics that come around with it, that don't want to stop what's going on. They don't want to cease and desist. They don't want to remove themselves from that role that they had been assuming, the entire time. And that can really make it hard for the brother to move forward with his life, because his mother or his father or his sisters or just the family, they don't want to stop being that to the children. It devastates a lot of people. Being a lineage leech is one of the worst things that a sister can choose to do, because there are some people, they don't want to remove themselves. And so the rock and the hard place is presented to the man. And now where the man, should be running, where the man should be seeking his freedom, where the man should be trying to see if he can get his arrears, where a man should be trying to remove himself from child support, or a man should really be trying to, reestablish himself and reestablish his identity, his lineage, as I aforementioned. Now he has the battle of people who don't want to remove themselves from that role. They want to still be that to the children. And that can be a conflict of interest immediately and later on if the man chooses to try to remarry and start his true family. The family's already hooked to this, to these children. They're hooked to this way of life, and they really don't. They may not be interested in extra grandchildren, real grandchildren, real biological grandchildren. They may not want that. Or they may treat those real children differently. It causes a lot of problems, because now you have, let's just say you have the new person involved, and she has to deal with this previous dynamic that doesn't have anything to do with her man. but her man is sucked into it. Imagine robbing a new situation from ever being able to grow and from being fertilized and from having its own way in life because of a lie, because of a leech. A lineage leech can affect a new marriage, a new relationship, can affect a man from being able to take another job in another state because he is feeling obligated and guilty and bound to a child that is not his. You cannot tell me that that is okay. You cannot tell me that that is okay. Robbing a man from establishing his own paternity, his own identity, his own son, his own daughter. That's not fair. It's not fair that there's no support system, a big enough support system of emotionally wise people, counsel in these brothers' lives to help them make a safe escape. You can be what about the children, but I'm about what about the children on a different level. If your what about the children is lie to them anyway, fuck you. If your what about the children is, nah, they have a right to know who they are. That doesn't mean that this man, and once again, the man has a right to walk away and never come back again. But if he so chooses to come around, the truth has to be there. These children need to know that uncle is really daddy and daddy is really uncle. These children have a right to know. But mom, I got to tell you this, sis, I got to tell you this. You got to close your legs and stop fucking men that you know you don't want people to know about. And then getting pregnant by men that you know you don't want people to know about. You know, because some of y'all are having sex with people that live up under the bridge. You pick them up, you have sex with them, and you drop them back underneath the bridge. And you get pregnant by them, and you don't want nobody to know that you got pregnant by a troll. I don't think it's healthy for your vagina to be going through that many different shapes of penises in the first place. Oh. That's what your vagina is doing. We can't have this. We need our sisters to be truthful about who their children's fathers are. We need them to stop going down to the courthouse, lying on these men and putting down any old name on these papers, and then having these men assume the responsibility for a responsibility that is not their responsibility. Taking accountability for lies and deceit, and then the courts pushing and advocating and supporting these leeches in their behavior. These DNA tests are not all the way accurate. Trust and believe. If you've listened to any of my episodes, I had a DNA test investigated, and what I found out is that information was falsified, that things were not done the way that they were supposed to have been done. A 45-day investigation. Don't play with me. You have to dig deep. What the courts are counting on, what these women are counting on, is that you brothers be lazy, not want to be bothered. Don't want to read, don't want to fill out anything, don't want to take the time to free yourself. You think it's cheaper to keep her. You better stop letting these, entertainers, energy and vibes and intentions get you off the beaten path. You better fight as a warrior, as a child of the Most High God. You think you're not going to have favor. The Lord works in mysterious ways. You need to not be lazy. She's counting on that. You need to be more selective about who you lay with. You need to be abstinent. You need to stop putting yourselves in these positions to where you've got to go down to the court because of issues, family issues. You should not be celebrating Mother's Day knowing you're a lineage leech. You shouldn't be celebrating it, period. And you're a lineage leech on top of that? You know, some people pop their collar, but you pop your broomstick. You pop your cauldron. You pop your spell book. You pop your evil intentions. You pop your maliciousness. A lot of you women are pimping these men. I'm keeping it so real. A lot of you men are being pimped by these women, and they are using these children to pimp you in the system, and the system is pimping you. You're not ahead, brother, and you need to get ahead. Number one, because you were created first. That's why you need to get ahead. You've got to reassume your rightful position in your reign, in your ranking as a man. Stop being so weak for the pussy that you let a lineage leech have the room and capacity to come all up in your family DNA and wreck your family tree. Stop letting these women put their children off on you, knowing you look at the child, you can see it, but you have this emotional attachment that makes you forsake your lineage. You can't forsake your lineage for a lie, for a leech. I understand children are cute and cuddly and beautiful, most of them. Some of them are demonic. For the most part, children are a beautiful, beautiful energy to be around. Contagious in their energy. I understand what it is. But if that's not your child, if those aren't your children, then your lineage has been leached upon, compromised and corrupted. There's a leak in your lineage, and you need to fix it. You need to repair the leaks in your lineage and fix your family tree. I don't give a damn what your mama say, your daddy say, your brother, sister. This is about you, not them. Here we go with this. Establish your boundaries. Hold on. Establish your boundaries and let your family know that they do not have a say-so in your lineage, in the fact that they didn't lay with this woman. Some of you didn't lay with this woman. So you tell me how your family has a right to assist a witch into leeching off of their lineage. This is your lineage too that's being leached upon by this woman. Does your family not care about their own lineage? Excuse me, or are there more secrets? Or is this something that's happened to uncle, granddaddy? Is this something that continues to happen? Is this a familiar energy? And that's why these women are so attracted to these type of men, because it's been done more than once. Some women will forge the man's name on the affidavit. Some women will forge their name on the declaration of paternity. Oh, it goes deep in the scandal. Like I said, I have a first-hand view of how scandalous a lineage leech can be. Got a lot of receipts on a lineage leech, to be honest with you. The diving that I had to do to discover, to aid and assist a brother who was a victim and is still a victim of a lineage leech. No matter what, I don't ever think that it is okay. I'm going to need my brothers and my sisters to protect their lineage. Not only by being honest, about the fact that of biologically who is who and what is what, but protecting your family lineage by having better energy and rebuking the manipulation, the deception, the perversion, the chaos, the combativeness, the assassination attempts on your brother or your sister. I need our people to think about what are you in totality passing down in your lineage? What type of character do you have? Are you responsible with your dignity? Are you responsible with your integrity? Are you responsible with how you conduct yourself and how you see things and how you do things? Do you give back? Are you a contributor or are you a vulture? Are you a leech? Are you the reason why we can't get ahead? Are you the reason why we can't humble ourselves and pray? Are you part of the reason why our people are not yet closer to solutions and are so stuck in pollutions because you refuse to change? If your child's last name is a lie, you need to fix it. If you know that these are not your children, brother, and you still sticking around, giving your last name off for free, letting people leech off your last name for free, then I'm asking you to check yourself and protect your lineage. Stop doubting, stop wondering, and get to the courthouse for mandatory DNA tests. Stop letting her just tell you something. Don't be lazy about your lineage. When you're lazy about your lineage, a lie can live in it. Wait a minute. It's gonna rain on your head. It's gonna rain on your head. Like, seriously. If you knew who you were, you would do better by yourself. The only thing that you do is make sure that you please yourself through sexual pleasure, but you don't please yourself in any other area of your life, nor are you pleasing the Most High God by being reckless with your DNA. You skeeting all over town, getting this person pregnant, and almost getting this person pregnant, nearly getting this person pregnant, skeeted in this person, but ain't no way it could be your baby. You don't care about yourself. You know how many brothers have low self-esteem? It's not just a woman thing. You got a lot of workshops and a lot of pamphlets and videos and shit and trinkets for women. Oh, she has low self-esteem. She does? Oh, it's the lowest we've ever seen. Well, how low is it? Oh, it's very, very low. And so we're going to cater to it and give her all the workshops she needs and pamphlets and brochures. Aren't pamphlets and brochures the same thing? Yes. And we're going to give her a charcuterie board, and we're going to give her a $25 gift card to Didi's Discounts. We're just going to nurture her because her self-esteem is low, and because of that, that's why she makes the decisions that she makes. But if her self-esteem were higher, then she'd be less likely to fuck the village up. What say you? But meanwhile, on the other side of town, you know what I mean, the brother, his self-esteem is low, and this is y'all. Nigga, suck that shit up, nigga. What? Nigga, bitches come a dime a dozen, nigga. Nigga, I know you ain't over there in the corner crying about that shit. Nigga, what? Nigga, what? What you mean you feeling bad? Nigga, please. You can't be no G and feeling bad, nigga. Hell nah. You've got that. Ain't no workshops, ain't no cookies, nothing. Soak that shit up, nigga. Yep, that's what okay. One brochure that says, he opens it up and it says, soak that shit up, nigga. Take it on the chin, nigga. Take the L for the homies. That's what it is. There's no nurturing. There's no condolences. There's no, embracing and love towards the man with the low self-esteem. And we have to address it across the board. And I believe that our people are in a position where we really are engaging in situations that we are not mentally ready for, emotionally wise to participate in, sex being one of them, being parents is another. And I wonder how many men have fallen asleep believing that they were the father and they weren't. How many grandparents have fallen asleep believing that these were their grandchildren and they weren't? How many people have gone on never knowing the truth about their lineage and died believing this about their lineage only for it to have been a lie? Is that right? Is that fair? Is that accurate? Doesn't that mess up the family algorithm? That we have family members who have passed away, that there are people who have passed away believing a lineage lie. A child has a right to know where they come from, the type of their medical history needs to be accurate. Their blood type needs to be accurate. A man has a right to call Junior, Junior, and Junior be Junior. The money, the time, the effort, the sweat, the energy that a man puts forth all to be leached. I care, and there are other people who do care about how this affects men. That a lineage leech has a devastating effect and a long-term outcome, a long-term effect on a man. And that a man may never be the same once discovering that he, in fact, is not the father. That there are family members who will be devastated at the awareness, having to unlearn a familiar rhythm in the family. To then start over again. And now the woman who he lays with next has to deal with all of his insecurities and pain because he is now questioning her motives, as he should, but it's intense. And her having to overcompensate for what this lineage leech did to him. There has to be a rest stop for the man after this type of crime that allows him to heal before he gets back on the road, because you brothers should not be trying to get anybody else pregnant until you heal from what this woman has done. It doesn't make any sense to just be going from one person to the next and denying yourself proper rest, and rest is healing. You have the opportunity through the Most High God to heal. You cannot heal through anything else but Him. Nobody else will get it. Nobody else will understand to the extent and capacity that our Lord and Savior understands and has the power to heal you from it. The lineage leech does not prosper, but she is lingering. And there is a healing, there is a balm for you. There is a ointment for you for this devastation, but you've got to get to the master. You've got to get to the healer so you can heal from this type of crime. You're a victim. And in that healing, it will allow you to put yourself in a better position to be a father because you deserve to be one. Not only that, you deserve to be the father of your own children. You deserve it, but you should not ejaculate again until you're healed. So your children can come through you calmly, not chaotically. They don't have to be, ejaculated through all of your pain. They should be ejaculated through your healing. And then you could take your lesson and teach other men. It's a lesson to make you a warrior, to make you aware, and for you to teach other men in some form, some capacity, to be aware of the lineage leech. You know all the signs. So you'll be able to help a particular group of men about this. Your last name has the right to be accurate in your family tree. And everybody with that last name should legally and biologically have it. It is not fair to allow this lie to go on until they're 18, 19, 30, 23, 40, 50. Unacceptable. Paternity fraud destroys the family tree. The lineage leech is guilty of such fraud. And until legislation is passed and punishment is enforced, this subject matter will continue to devastate the village. Who belongs to who? Who belongs to whom? Stop protecting the lies. Stop protecting the leech. I thank you all for being a wonderful listening audience. The time has been well spent. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Those are not hot flashes that you're experiencing. You're listening to The Culture Climate, raising the temperature in controversial conversations on the Sisters Speak show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, impact, and evolve. Rated R for strong language, thoughts, and ideas. Let's get back to the show. Welcome back. You are listening to The Culture Climate on the Sisters Speak show. I am your host, Sister Speak. The time has been well spent. I'm recording live from Dallas, Texas. I'm serious about what I'm speaking about. That's why I am Sister Speak. That's why this show is rated R for strong language, thoughts, and ideas. I don't care if you agree with me or not. I know I'm telling the truth. And that's all that matters. I thank you all for tuning into this episode. Thank you for tuning into this segment. You are always a wonderful listening audience. And once again, welcome to my first time listeners. I hope that you tune in to other episodes. You can always go on demand to the Sister Speak show, and you'll see the interviews that I have done. You'll see the regular topics that I've done. And hopefully you will find some episodes, some titles that, resonate with your spirit and will encourage you, equip you, and help you to be a warrior. I don't want my brothers and sisters to be anything less than a warrior. I don't want us to be bound by the devil. I don't want us to be workers for the enemy. I want us to be set apart. And I want us to embrace the fact that we are a royal priesthood, a chosen people, a chosen generation. Like, we need to understand that there's a chain of command and there's order, and we cannot play around with order nor birth order. We can't play around with paternity, maternity. We have to understand that there is a wealth of wisdom that we should not shun. And when you read the word, you will gain wisdom. That's just it. I thank you all for downloading. I thank you for supporting the Sister Speak show. If you want to support the Sister Speak show, you can through my Cash App at $SISTASPEAK 76. Thank you in advance for those of you all who choose to show your support. And thank you for hanging in for the conversation. Some conversations are harder to have than others, but we got through it. And that's because you're wise and you had your scuba gear and your water. Anyway, brothers and sisters, I'm getting ready to go and chill out. Okay? Big relaxation. Big relaxation. So let's do it like this. How are we going to fix this? I return to sender all spell work, all voodoo, all black magic. It has no effect on my listening audience. It has an adverse effect, an immediate adverse effect to the practitioner and the sender. No evil eye will prosper. No weapon formed against me or my listening audience shall prosper. Satan, get thee behind me in the name of Jesus the Christ. I rebuke you. You are a defeated foe. Your plans are canceled. Your ways are wicked, and you will not dominate nor dictate or declare my soul, my footsteps, nor my listening audience's soul or footsteps. Your plans don't work. Your plans don't bless us. They curse us. That's why you have to get thee behind us. You're not going to be able to use us for your wicked ways. We're not your hoes, and you are not our pimp. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God, my rock, in whom I take refuge, my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold. Blessed be the name of the Most High God. Blessed be the name of the Most High God. I'm a warrior. You're a warrior. Warriors mount up. The devil is already defeated.